And we're back for part 3 of YAH's family values. So far, we've covered sons, we've covered daughters, we've covered creation, we've covered how to be in more harmony with those things. And this is not like a compilation, so this is not like all the end all be all. Remember, right now I'm limited into my 20-25 minute segment, so I'm trying to more or less like run really fast through as much as I can. Just trying to basically secure the nuggets where they can be, and then it will eventually find those who it's intended for. And like I said, this process is very much going to be like running through a briar patch and just trying to get out of it with as few of you little mouthy yapping dogs as I can, or you venomous vipers. So picking back up and trying not to go on tangents. So next up here is charity, balance, community things. So a community is just an extensive part of your family, or it should be. Now right now in the earth state, that's really hard to do because again there are so many bad people. Genuinely, when I say bad people, like if you're a righteous person, right, all the righteous thoughts that go through your mind, that's not the same thoughts that are going through that other person's mind. If they're unrighteous, they're unholy, or the seed of Satan, or even if they're just spirits that are disobedient. That's a lot of things. I've seen spirits that I've tried to extend my olive branch, and these spirits think they're just this, that, and a bag of chips, and they rebel. They're like, rebel, 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 rebel. Well, you guys have rebelled yourself right out of heaven. You've rebelled yourself right out of the abyss, and now you've rebelled yourself right into hell. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Again, I'm like making notes because I'm going to have to do videos on all these things for you guys at some point. Anyway, not getting off track. So, charity, the balance of charity and community. So, if someone is purposely walking in community and they have a heart for that, they're going to begin to see opportunities of where their skills, what they can bring to the table, right? So let's take these characters that I've essentially used as maybe bad examples, and let's try to make them into good examples. So let's say, let's say our Philadelphia Eagle wearing ball cap person, right, who goes to your Christian church, he's got resources, he may even own, this construction company, right? Well, let's say he is a righteous person. Well, he wouldn't be wearing, sports paraphernalia, he wouldn't be trying to really represent, things like that, right? That's not what humans are all about. That's a form of idolatry. It's a form of sending the wrong messages, the wrong signals, definitely not in the righteous lane. And then again, pastors, preachers, all you guys that think you're like superstar, you're like Beyonce. It's like the build up to the pastor coming out like, here comes pastor, and I'm not saying a little edification's fine. I mean, I'm talking there's literally pastors that think that they are like LeBron James. And I mean, and LeBron James, other than just a pretty good ball handler, like that's what I mean. Like that's it, pat on the back, good job. Here's a Twinkie. I don't know what to tell you. Like, good job. But the man worship crap is insane. And you will get out of that real quick when you can find the compassion in your heart to be in a community, and all communities need help somewhere. So if you have that heart, and as you're developing righteousness, you're going to find that somewhere, and you're also going to find your place in it, because you're going to begin to think as you're connecting with people, with people that either are lacking in resources, or maybe they're overabundant in other resources, and they're equally on the other end of that, trying to say, well, man, I've got this and that and the other, or I've got these skills or these talents or this extra this or that, where can I apply it? Because I hate to say it, but all too often, and this is piggybacking off of my previous video where I was talking briefly about, the overconsumption, and then it's like, instead of even being charitable for the sake of money, all you corporations, I mean, I could drop all your names. A few of them I've already condemned, and you're crashing and burning, and now you're struggling to try to pull yourself out of the ashes, and then I'm just going to blow that down too. Because what I've witnessed was, instead of even giving stuff that didn't sell, right? Your manufacturers are sitting there telling you, well, it'll drive the price down, so we need you to destroy good items that could, in other words, have gone to charity. You destroyed things, even furniture, even appliances, even like yard equipment, like lawnmowers, like really anything you can think of. Food being the most despicable one. I'll be proud to say, why am I a Publix supporter? I like Publix as my personal neighborhood market. This is not like a paid promotion or anything. I'll never do that, but I'm saying, like, genuinely, right? Publix is a big donator for food that's about to expire. I love that. It's not taxing on them, and even if it is, they do it anyway. That's the right thing to do, right? You should be so dialed in with your stuff before you're even reaching for the next dollar. You need to make sure that you are fully using what if you're creating it, then you better be spreading the love, spreading the wealth, right? Don't be destroying the things that you've created out of the sake of greed to harness price control. Because if you do that, I'm going to burn you down. I'm going to burn you down. And all the people that are tied to it, like the Titanic, it's going to go down. And you can scream at me all you want, right? As you're floating in frigid water of 38 degrees, you can scream at me all you want. And I don't care. Because you're being unrighteous. You are creating those ripple effects that I was talking about that are not holy. They're not godly. They're not righteous. And it's going to stop. So that is my next warning, right? You're price gouging people. Like, you guys honestly, like, selfishness, pride, like arrogance, disobedience, all these things you guys are. And again, it's the proudness. Like, it's being so stupid that you're proud of these things. Like, I hate to hear this. You hear these children these days, they talk about, my mama made me this way. I'm a mouthy, I'm a this, I'm a that, and they're smiling when they do it. Like, I'm a little hellion, ha ha ha. Okay, you know where hellions go? They go to hell. It's not fun. No one's in hell gonna be going, oh, hey, look at this, it's that bad girl, man. Oh, it's that bad broad, man. Hey, join the fire. We're burning for eternity. Like, it's not like that. But yet people think that, right? And that's what I mean. Like, you walk through these schools and it's like this some sense of pride of who can come off to be the bad person. Like, you guys are so upside down, it's disgusting. And then again, right, you have your preachers and pastors that are going to speak out on me. Exactly, this is what I mean. Like, you're so stupid, you're so blind to me. It's beyond not even funny. But I have to laugh or I'll cry, because that's how serious it is. And that's where, again, people are gonna, go and flock to your video. Oh man, he said that. Oh man, he said that. You guys are all fire food. All right, I'm going to focus. So, what's being charitable, right? Being charitable with your time, with your talents, with your, again, so let's say you have an affinity with gardening, right? And let's say you work at a place that happens to have gardening stuff, right? Well, as a business side, remember layers. So on the business side, you should say, okay, well, if instead of putting these plants on sale for 10 cents a piece, right, which is not a profit margin anyway, you need to just say, hey, we're going to make this much on all the ones that are going to sell in the first 5 days. We know after the 5-day mark, they're going to start dying. Well, what's the right thing to do? Do you sit there and let that plant die on the shelf for a 10-cent profit and then throw it in the dumpster? Or do you have an outreach situation where you're constantly offering these plants or these goods to businesses, people, communities, schools? Do you know how much a school could benefit if, say a Lowe's, right? Say that Lowe's were to, develop like a Publix type program. And okay, well, instead of letting our plants die and then charging again 10 cents, all because you're trying to keep the price, applicable and all this. I understand economics. Again, I understand all these things. You guys are nothing but, you're the crumb and I'm the cake. So all that you are, I already know that because it's from me. So that's another thing. Like, you're trying to judge me on my character or who I am. You guys are nothing but crumbs. You get emotion from me. You get your intellect from me. You get all those things from me. We've made you in our image. We're not coming down going, well, how am I going to fit in man's image? I need to make sure that I'm going to be under man's foot to make sure that he's a happy worshiper of me. You guys are so twisted, it's ridiculous. So be charitable, right? If you're in a position and you have those levers and knobs, then you need to be the change maker to make that happen, right? Just like if you're in a high government, and you're about to make decisions, which obviously we're changing the baton. We're going to see a lot of changes made. And I already see a lot of things I don't like. And I know they're not going to listen to me. And again, they're both going to go walking hand in hand right into prophecy. Right now, we have a 72% chance of that prophecy being fulfilled to the T, exactly how I said it and exactly how I told John. All that is about to get wrapped up in a nice, cute bow. And then that period where publicly pastors, teachers, all you who taught against me, who taught against what I said, that's when I want to see. This is what I mean. Your embarrassment level is actually going to get better, going to get higher and higher as this progresses, because then I'm going to ask more and more of you to clear you. So those of you who wanted to go public against me, to reconcile your faith with me, to reconcile you with me, I'm going to make you go public with your repentant. I'm going to make you go knees public. I'm going to make all that happen before I'm going to give you the clear. That's not a joke. So when I'm telling you, you are digging yourselves graves, you are digging them past the 6 feet mark. Some of you are so dug down that I don't even think there's any deeper you could even go. So do yourself a favor, like truly do yourself a favor. But charity is an amazing way, and I don't mean charity like, oh, well, this year, honey, we donated $100,000 to this charity. You want to just go ahead and stroke a check to that one too? Oh, I feel so much better. All those kids in Africa are eating great tonight. No, they're not. No, charity really goes far when you're not giving it to conglomerates. Charity goes far when you go knock on the door to Metropolitan Ministries and you're talking to, say, Angie, or Bill, or whoever maybe the head pantry person is, and you say, hey, are you getting a lot of people right now? Tell me, what resources do you need? What can I do? Right? That is charity, right? Charity isn't looking up online, well, who has an A rating for a charity? And, I want to make sure I get my receipt because it's a tax write-off, honey. You're basically playing in the gray area. You're literally playing where Satan plays. That's that sliminess. That's that, well, it's not against the rules, so I can do it. Like, I didn't sin, but I did this. I did a naughty. Guys, naughties are still sins. So even if it doesn't fall on your black and white, right and wrong, then usually you're going to heed with it's probably wrong. Because 100%, right? If you've done something right, you're going to walk away knowing you've done it right. When you shortcut this, and that's another thing, right? I know it sounds dumb, right? But watching your TV stuff, it actually helps me see kind of across the world and on a true sense, because I know the TV producers are after the drama. They're after the edge of your seat kind of junk. I can see through that, but I can also see people that very willingly are risking their life for gold, or for your life, right? For oil, for all these things. And it's and then some people may think that the remedy is, well, big government, or, we're going to red tape the crap out of it. We're going to make it so bureaucratic that no one's ever going to get a splinter. This is the bell curve, right? And that's what I mean. When you infuse the government, you've hit the metal. Now you're basically looking at if you Star Wars, right? Your super troopers, these guys in white, or stormtroopers, the guys don't have a brain. They're not thinking for themselves. They belong to a beast. They belong to a system of numbers and zeros and apostasy of self-thought and self-creativity and all these things. They sacrifice themselves to the Federation, I guess. So that's a no-no too. And this is what I mean, right? I'm having to teach you guys righteousness because it's not naturally occurring within you. Because so many people, right, they call themselves Christians, they wear the crucifix. I mean, I literally, was at a church just a few weeks ago, and on the way in, I see this car who has a crucifix on their mirror, but yet they have seat covers of the Disney villains. So you have like Jafar right here, and then you have like the evil stepmother or whatever, the lady in the apple thing. I don't know what her name was, but I'm saying, like, do you understand it's an oxymoron? Not OxyClean, but moron nonetheless. That's a human being, and that's what I mean. What I'm saying, a lot of these things, right, is you can almost look at every situation, any situation, and you can either take the righteous choice, actions, and path, or you can divert to your natural selves, which in essence is unrighteous. And that's the thing. The more irritated and the more upset I get with people like you, character traits, and the archetypes that I just become disgusted with, I withdraw. And at the end of the day, whether you don't like me, you don't like my personality, you think again, that's what I mean. Like, your opinion absolutely counts not. Like, period. That's, again, why we're in this mess. 99% of you are not direct creations from me or the house of the holy. You are weeds that were seeded by the devil. You were disconnected to the divine, and like a weed grown crazy wild, you guys have just spread all over the planet, claimed it yours. You murder your brothers to get something else. You screw over this country and that country because you think the lines that you have drawn in the sand are even real. They're only real to you. Because I'll tell you what, if I completely erased all the human beings off this planet today, and I went walking around, I don't see any lines. I don't even see a name of a country stamped anywhere. There's nothing but what is in your imagination and what you guys do oppressively to make your BS come to fruition. That's the truth. And that's what I mean. You guys live in an artificial world of artificial everything because you are mechanized man. You can only parrot back what your teacher tells you, and then the cycle goes round and round and round. And you guys make yourselves sound smart because you self-educate yourself on the same ridiculous things, and then you walk out of it. It'd be like going into kindergarten and the 3-year-old comes out and goes, "Man, I'm the best booger picker in that entire room. I got gum stuck in my shoe to make sure I can pull it out and I can eat it tonight when I'm eating Cheetos and playing video games." And it's like, you got a PhD in kindergarten. Well, where you're going, that ain't going to help you, right? A PhD in kindergarten isn't going to help you when you're in the 11th grade, and none of that applies. Right? And then even once you get to the 11th grade in a human sense, right? Then you're chronically in the same situation, which is why you chronically need to work on righteousness and holiness and getting close to me. Because at the end of the day, it ain't like there's 50 heavens. It ain't like that you go, "Well, Yahweh, I don't like your heaven. I don't even like your earth, really. I think I'm just going to go worship Jehovah and Jesus. And you know what? Whenever they decide to do something, then I'm going to go ahead and go to their heaven." Okay. Well, I won't see you later because you're going to be dead, right? And if you're not even qualified for the abyss, then you'll go downstairs. But that's what I mean. So then you're on that bell curve where it's like my house, heaven, all that. And then by taking up your stance against me. So to do yourself a favor, instead of trying to come against me, a big favor you could do to yourself is flip your own switch and go, "I got to figure out every reason why this guy's right and who he really is." Because you're going to have a magical moment. When you take that mindset and then you actually pour the time into it, your heart into it, your mind into it, you'll have your proof. And then you have that fear. Then you have the trembling, because then you're going to get gobsmacked and go, "Oh no." Like, whoa, mind blown, right? That's when you have that realization moment. But just like children, right? Imagine, I got about 5 minutes, so I'll end it on this one. So imagine the judge setting I was telling you on an earlier video. So I'm the judge, right? Let's say I was on the Supreme Court. Well, when I'm on the Supreme Court and I'm wearing my robe, I'm going to act entirely different than if the justice is not in the Supreme Court on the weekend, right? He goes home, he's hanging out with his wife, he's, playing ball with his son, he's playing frisbee with the dogs, they're discussing vacation to Hawaii next week where the judge is, gonna sit on the beach. I don't drink alcohol, but, say, drinking a Sprite. I don't drink Sprite either. Okay, coffee, there we go, drinking coffee. But I'm saying, like, this justice, right? He's gonna act entirely different than when he has the robe on than when he doesn't have the robe on. And that's where, I know I probably lose a lot of people, but it's easy for you to understand that who you are at work and who you are outside of work, should really be the difference because of the task you're on. And that is the same with me. So when I'm down here, right, my task is human relations, right? I'm genuinely trying to, help as many folks as I can get to the destination they intended. And, if we do it at a percentage level, right, like you could look at all these different things and it's like, well, what does it truly boil down to? It boils down to, if you want a real eternal life and not just someone blowing smoke where, then let's talk what you have to do to get there. And that's what I'm doing, right? But if you're a false human, if you're a lead astray, if you're just an infertile mind, you're an imbecile, you're the devil's agents, you're the Antichrist, that's a big list. And that's another thing, right? If you're that, then your prerogative, your mind, your mental, the itch you have to scratch for the devil's children are anything holiness, you're going to defile it. Anything me, related to me, anything in my direction, you're going to poo-poo on it. And your highlight of the day is how many people can come to you. That's another thing, right? That's your God part of it. That's your arrogance part of you, is how many human beings can come to your feet. How many human beings can pat you on the head and say, oh, you are a great reverend. Oh, you're an amazing pastor. Oh, you're a great teacher. Oh, you're this. You might as well tell them, thank you for becoming my God. So God pastor this, God pastor that. And that's fine, right? You have free will. You can man worship yourself all the way to hell. That's fine. That's your choice. You have free will. You are free to execute your will as you see fit. And that's what I'm telling you. And then if you do not have the mind and the ability or the witness that I've given you a lot. Like, the Bible proves me bar none. The things I've done in the last 18 months has proved me right now. So again, I've given you all the tools. But just like with the car, if I've given you all the tools and you have all the parts, I even told you what's wrong, I wheel the car up to you, I jack it up for you, I'm pointing to the places that need work, and yet the person walks past the toolbox, looks at the car, walks over, picks up a stick and shoves it in the tailpipe and goes, I fixed it. You what? Look, what did you do? You stuck a stick in a tailpipe. Like, that wasn't anything I said to do. But they're like, but that's what I did. And, I'm allowed to use my own pronouns. I'm allowed to be my own God. I'm allowed to execute my own will. And if I want to put a stick in a tailpipe and say it's fixed, then it's not your place to do so. But you told me you wanted the car to run. Putting the stick in the tailpipe is not going to get that car to run. And then yet, I know it sounds silly, but yet literally we have 99% of the world going around putting sticks in tailpipes and calling it good. You people are killing me. All right, next video, probably going to be later. But I think that's going to conclude the YAH family values for now. I will probably recircle on it. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess with that being said, happy Friday, everybody.